So the first thing I want to do is explain the difference between the labor theory of value and the marginal productivity theory of value. So under the labor theory of value, things only have value because they're produced, or things have value because they're produced. Under the marginal productivity theory of value, or the marginal revolution, things have value because they're demanded, not because they're produced. In the ex-Soviet Union where I lived, they produced a lot of stuff, but nobody wanted it. I mean, during the Soviet Union period, they produced a lot of stuff, but nobody wanted it. So I would see people's dachas, summer houses, and they would have rusty old mattress springs as fences and stuff like that. Did you have a question? You rose your hand? No?
Oh, yeah, I was wondering, just repeat what the MPTD is?
Yeah, marginal productivity theory of distribution, marginal productivity theory of distribution. And this can explain, well, the production function in economics, but it can explain what we're going to look at next, which is the logistics curve. So we've looked at, you get a social structure that maybe grinds to a halt. This is, our authors use this, they call it the logistics curve. Where a logistics curve, where you need a significant event or a change in technology in order to get flourishing again. So the way that works, marginal productivity theory of distribution. One of the underlying things in this class is, again, the first day of class we said it was about, the name of the course is Economic History of the Western Community. And what is the West and what's the purpose of the course? Well, it was developed during the Cold War when you had the West versus the Soviet Union influenced areas. And so the idea was the Cold War. So the authors were interested in looking at population growth. Just like in the Korean War, Mao, when he was building the Chinese nation, subsuming China, he would just send people to face the UN firings, the machine guns, just line them up and shoot them down. So one of the things that people are interested in developing this course is population, effects on population. So you can look at, when we get to the logistics curve, we'll look at two different types of logistics curves, one based on economic growth, another one based on population growth. So in our Cameron and Neal textbook, when they talk about a logistic, they're talking about something which changes the rate of population growth. So let's say you have a factory. You have a factory. And the way, so you're an entrepreneur, you have a factory making what? You're making 99-cent glasses that don't ruin your eyes when you look at the computer screen. So the first person you hire or the first machine you build is going to bring you this much value. Then the next person you hire to work that machine or the next machine you build is going to bring you a little bit less value. And then the next, a little bit less value. That's called diminishing marginal productivity. Diminishing marginal productivity. So let's say that this person you hire, first person has the most skills, experience, education. They bring you 40 an hour. The next person you hire brings you 20 an hour. The next person you hire brings you 10 an hour. Right? You're not hiring, you have no possible way to hire the best people for all positions at any given moment of time. I mean, that's why there's so many people looking for work and so many unfilled jobs, because there's a disconnect in terms of the skills people need and what employees can bring. Especially when so many things are declared essential and non-essential. So the first person you hire is going to bring you this much value, $40 an hour. So this person will earn $40 an hour minus whatever profit. This person will earn 20 an hour, and this person will earn 10 an hour. Diminishing marginal productivity. So the value you put in the economy is the value you get out of the economy. And that could be a machine, entrepreneurs, employees, real estate, the factors of production, land, labor, capital, entrepreneurial talent. The value you put in the economy is the value you get out of the economy. And that's called the marginal productivity theory of distribution. And it's based on the diminishing marginal productivity. So it's not a labor theory of value. The labor time you put into something creates value. No, it's value that's realized in exchange as things are demanded. Does that make sense? All right, so from there we can look at the logistics curve. So here you see things are grinding to a halt. So what do you have to do? You open a new factory or do imperialism and take over more land. So this week, we'll look at that. And just as an aside, and I feel it's my duty to do this, is why the minimum wage creates unemployment for the worse off in society. Because if this person who has more education, skills, and experience creates 40 an hour in value, this person who has less experience, education, and talent can only create $10 worth of value. Well, if you put on a minimum wage that's $15 an hour, this person, number one, creates 40, still can be hired. This person, number two, can create 20, still be hired. But this person, number three, can only create $10 worth of value, will lose their job. Or the entrepreneur will substitute out into robotics. So apparently there's been a study that 1/3 of businesses have, due to the unintended consequences of extending unemployment insurance to a point where it's more affordable to just get unemployment insurance than flip hamburgers. I mean, who hasn't flipped hamburgers as your first job? So, right, so the minimum wage hurts the worse off, but you could really be cynical and say, well, that's great. Unemployment, well, then they become dependent on the state and we get their vote. Everybody wins. So let's look at the marginal productivity theory of distribution basis for the logistics curve. Okay, so back to the point that one of the points of the course is to look at population growth over time during the Cold War, as it was founded. So it was this person, Ricardo, or Malthus. Malthus had this concept that population would grow quicker than food production. So you would get mass. So whenever you hear that there's too many people on Earth or some stuff like that, that's called Malthusian thinking, that the population will grow quicker than the means to support the population. So here's population growth. People breed like rabbits, yet economic growth and the abilities to sustain and reproduce grows exponentially versus geometrically. So without population control, you're going to have mass starvation. Well, historically, that has not proven true. Population increased 20th century. Yeah, from the 20th century, income increased 1,000%, where population only increased 300%. So the Malthusian doomsayers have not been proved correct throughout history. But that, again, is only if you have the conditions, sound rule of law, monetary and fiscal policy. There has been lots of mass starvation in certain places. Okay, so our authors, they look at, they're interested in the population level. So I didn't draw that correctly, but here's the old world population level is decreasing. So then you start to explore the new world, population starts to increase again. Then Kuznets, he won the Nobel Prize for the use of this invention of this apocal innovation idea, where he's more concerned about income. We're not worried about national income so much as we are individual income. And the nation state has only been in the fore of our consciousness since World War I. So, for example, and this logistic curve should be drawn right here, not there. So a change in technology will then bring more growth. A change in another technology will bring more growth. So this phone has been the result of 47 years of innovation, not revolution. All right.